Hi everyone, this is Mr Neel Raithatha, also known as the Wax Whisperer. Thank you for joining me in my latest video. We have here a patient who attended with bilateral blocked earwax and dead skin. We're just commencing with their left ear. You may have noticed there, just at the entrance of the ear canal, they do have a bit of otitis externa. It's very superficial, so it's just affecting the outer layer of skin, which has become quite dry and callous. It is a chronic issue for the patient, and they do have some prescribed medication from their GP. Now, immediately, I decided to instill some olive oil spray, and that's because the consistency of this wax and coating is quite soft, buttery, mushy, glutinous, and it can be pretty hard to vacuum this. With a consistency like this, and you may have seen it on the surface of the wax there, sort of suctioning quite often. The tip of the sucker embeds and imprints onto the surface of the wax, and it can block the internal suction probe as well. It leads to blockages, and so it's probably the worst consistency, if truth be told, when you're removing this consistency of wax. So the medical grade olive oil, that does help. What the oil does, it helps to bind the wax together, and therefore when you're suctioning it, it comes out in larger chunks. It also helps to lubricate the ear canal wall, so there's less friction, and also it helps to lubricate the inside of the suction probe. I've just decided to go in here with a Jobson horn just to see if I can scoop some of this more lateral wax. Let me say lateral, I mean towards the entrance. And I'm just being careful as I'm bringing the Jobson horn out. I don't want to make contact with the canal wall if possible. You can see I've got a nice piece out there. So with the olive oil, we recommend not to use home olive oil if possible. So even if it's extra virgin olive oil, the way extra virgin olive oil, home oil, cooking oil is extracted is they use some chemicals in the process of separation, the refraction process. With medical grade olive oil, it's separated, so all the impurities have been removed without the use of any chemicals. And so you can get medical grade olive oil at most pharmacies. You can get it online nowadays. In fact, we do sell it on our Clearwax website. It's a company called Clear, and it should from the offset declare my conflict of interest. So Clear are a UK manufacturer of ear care products, and they've appointed me as their healthcare advisor. We are working on some really, really great new products as well. I had a meeting with them last week. It's really exciting. A very innovative company, and they approached me about a year ago, and we've done some work promoting this olive oil spray. So we do sell it on our website, only in the UK at the moment anyway. If you visit our website, the URL's there, bottom right screen, www.clearwax.co.uk. Visit our online public shop, and you can purchase that. There are also some other ear care products that we sell. And if you're a specialist and you want to stock the drops and sprays and all the other ear care products that we have, when you visit the website, select sign in and create an account, register yourself as a specialist. And when you do register yourself as a specialist professional, you'll get access to our trade shop. So you have to buy in bulk, but you get discounted prices for that. I also just used there some sodium bicarbonate drops. Now, sodium bicarbonate drops, I think I discussed it on a video yesterday or the day before. It can help to break up the skin portion of this wax plug. So this wax is made up of dead skin and sebaceous glands, oils called sebum, and cerumenous gland secretions, which is an oily sweat, the same sweat we find under our armpits, and a high concentration of dead skin this has. And where you find the sodium bicarbonate drops works is with the dead skin element of this plug. The skin cells, they are what we call hydrophilic. They absorb and are attracted by water. So the sodium bicarbonate, because it's water-based, it enters the skin cells. The skin cells then overhydrate. They absorb too much water, and it bursts the cell membranes. So in essence, what sodium bicarbonate drops does with dead skin, it just breaks it down. It doesn't dissolve, so it doesn't the wax, the debris is still there. But it can help when you're performing microsuction, actually, when you've got a high concentration of dead skin. Sodium bicarbonate drops, because they're water-based and alkaline, you just got to be careful, because we want the ear to be acidic, so this does elevate the pH level. So you just got to use it sparingly when necessary. And you can see just in the distance there, the eardrum, the bottom, is a little opening. And this plug now, I've got a good suction grip, and I'm just going to slowly bring this out. And it's a big soft plug. Just going to re-enter the ear. Instantly, the patient can hear better. And I'm just going to spend some time just getting rid of some of this excess debris. Because this patient she does suffer from chronic buildup of dead skin and wax, and she does suffer from psoriasis, so and itchiness in the ear. And all this debris can cause a bit of itchiness as well. So we just spend a bit of time mopping this up. It's not going to improve her hearing. Her hearing has been restored. She can hear really, really well. But I just want to mop some of this up for her. There is a few hairs there you can see, and these hairs really shouldn't be in this portion of the ear canal. So this is the bony part, the osseous part. The patient should be aware not to use cotton buds because we've explained it before, and hopefully they're not. It could just be some of these hairs are loose and they've just become stranded in the ear canal and matted against the wax and dead skin. I'm now using the fine end suction probe. You don't need the full zonal suction probe. The full zonal suction probe is considerably louder than the fine end. With the fine end, because of the smaller internal diameter, there's, of course, less suction, so less noise. I've been saying that when you've got a fine end, because it is a smaller internal diameter, so smaller tip, any suction you do generate, it's a lot more concentrated. So the smaller surface area, you can sometimes get more grip purchase with the wax. And I'm just hovering over here. This was a bit tricky. I don't want to touch the ear canal wall. I don't want to traumatize it. I'm just hovering over. At least on the bony part. The bony part, the skin is very delicate. It's only less than 0.1 millimeters in thickness, whereas the skin that lines the inner two-thirds is a lot thicker. It's a millimeter thicker. It's made up of 3 membranes, 3 layers, should I say, sorry, whereas the skin that lines the osseous, the bony portion, it's only the outer layer, the epithelial layer. So it's a lot more prone to getting traumatized. Again, just need to do a steady hand, just hovering over. And they do also have a blockage in their right ear, so they do stay tuned. In fact, the plug of wax in the right ear was a lot larger than this one, and it came out in a more singular piece. You can see all this dry, callous, thickened, dead skin that I was referring to at the entrance. So the patient is very careful about allowing water in the ear. So water can do 2 things in the ear. I was speaking about this to a client earlier today. Exposure to prolonged water can macerate the skin, so essentially soften it. So the skin absorbs the water, overhydrates, the membranes burst, and then the skin gets broken up and it becomes mushy. In another way, water can affect you. So that's one method. But just so when you go showering, for example, and you've got water in your ear, it's typically with warmer water. What that warmer water does, it washes away protected. This is probably a bit more expensive, but all of our ear canals, they're lined with it's almost invisible to the naked eye, a veneer, thin coating of protective film of oils. So these oils from the sebaceous and cerumenous glands that I was referring to earlier, and these oils are hydrophobic, so they prevent water from penetrating into the ear canal. But with warmer water especially, if you use prolonged exposure to water, what I referred to earlier, that's still going to break through it. But even if you've had a short period of exposure with warmer water, it kind of washes away this protective film. And this protective film also helps to retain internal moisture. So it has a double effect. It protects the ear canal from external bacteria and fungi and water from penetrating, but it also helps to retain internal moisture. So once that protective film's gone, the internal moisture within the ear canal, the skin that lines the ear canal, it can escape, and it kind of is pushed outwards to the surface. It's not retained anymore. Then it evaporates and we get dry skin. I get a lot of dry skin either side of my on the side of my lips after showering, so I have to apply moisturizer every day. So if I don't, it becomes really dry and it cracks. So I can imagine what people go through inside their ear, because it's it's the exact same concept in that respect. We do advise when you to avoid avoid water full stop in the ear, guys, but especially soapy water and water that's got hair products in there, so shampoo, conditioner, because those chemicals will break up that protective film that I was referring to. And it is an invisible layer, so even beyond underneath this, what I'm removing, there's an invisible protecting film there. So more or less finished. It's just a bit on the cartilaginous portion. When we're working on this part of the ear canal, we can apply a bit more pressure. It's made up of cartilage, which is flexible or semi-flexible, whereas the osseous portion, the bony portion, is rigid. So if you make contact with the bony part, it will be very uncomfortable for the patient. So yeah, there's a bit of debris here, there, everywhere. Again, I'm not overly concerned. I'm just hovering over. If it comes away, fantastic. If not, it's not a problem. This will provide some natural defence to the ear, additional defence, should I say. I think it's just a little bit to the left. Sometimes it's difficult in clinic because patients, obviously we show the video back and they want every last speck removed. And I think sometimes when I explain the importance of wax, they may not believe me, thinking I'm not wanting to do it. So I always try to hover over big pieces. And there is a fine line. I think with experience, you will find now a lot more of my videos where I am happy just to leave a bit more wax and explain that to the patient. This is the patient's right ear. So again, immediately I've just put some olive oil medical grade spray and it's just helped to bind this wax together. I've got a really good suction grip. So this wasn't as glutinous as their left ear. And for that reason, it's coming away in a big chunk. It's going to get trapped near the entrance in a moment. So this plug of wax is larger than the patient's entrance to the ear canal. So I'm having to tease and wriggle this through. Thought crossed my mind just to reach out for an ear hook or Jobson horn, but every time I thought, oh, let's go for that, it was coming further out. So I thought by the time I lean over to get another instrument, I'm going to get this plug out with the suction. You can see it's almost out. Just little wriggles left to right and then to the top. So this is protruding out the ear. If you're beside the patient at that stage, you would have seen that wax plug. You can see how bendy that ear is. This, I have to really, when I enter with the endoscope, I'm then having to veer over to the left, stretch and straighten this ear canal. So that's a potential reason for this patient's build-up of wax. So just a couple of terms I'll throw at you. So cerumenosis is the medical name given for wax build-up. Cerumenosis. So cerumen is the medical name for wax, and gnosis, impaction, I would assume. And I came across a fantastic name the other day. I was just doing some research, I was reading about, what was it? I don't even know what it was to do with ears. Yeah, I'm very boring. And I came across a term, and I thought, I've never heard of that before, but it's cool. And I'm very terrible with my pronunciations. Cerumenectomy. So cerumenectomy, and I've never come across that before. It's the medical name given to the removal of wax. So in terms of, you may have come across many types of surgery. For example, certain ear surgeries like mastoidectomy, which is the removal of the mastoid bone behind, which is the bone behind the ear, or stapedectomy. A stapedectomy is performed by ENT surgeons, and that's the removal of the stapes bone, and they replace it with a plastic or titanium prosthesis. So cerumenectomy is the removal, surgical, well, we're not doing surgery, but it's the removal of earwax. It's a fantastic name. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Take care, keep well, speak soon. Bye.